How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the headlines on the screen before you, which says YouTube is hiring 10,000 people to police offensive videos. And this headline is a little bit misleading, and I'll be able to explain that to you as we get more into the actual video, as we read the articles and things that are related to the article. And I'm going to give you my opinion about it as we get more into the video, which may surprise you. This is pretty much like breaking news. It's about 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on December the 5th of 2017. And you can see the story was updated at 10:41 a.m. So this is pretty much happening right now. After I get done with this video, there are probably more things that come out. But as of right now, we're going to get into this article and deal with what we have as far as any information about this situation. YouTube is finally admitting it has a major problem and robots won't be able to fix it. Google's video streaming service said it plans to hire more than 10,000 new employees next year in a scramble to clamp down on the offensive and inappropriate content that has been plaguing its site. Last month, it was revealed that pedophiles have been posting disgusting comments to videos of scantily clad children. That was after an uproar earlier this year over YouTube videos promoting terrorism and racist leaders like David Duke that had caused big advertisers to flee. Quote, "We need an approach that does a better job determining which channels and videos should be eligible for advertising," YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki admitted in one of a big pair of blog posts Monday. And we'll get to the blog post a little bit later in the video. I think that's important to read after we get done the article, which is going to like editorialize and give their own slant on what's happening. The moves come as advertisers, regulators, and advocacy groups express ongoing concern over whether YouTube's policing of its service is sufficient. YouTube has developed automated software to identify videos linked to extremism and now is aiming to do the same with clips that portray hate speech or unsuitable for children. Now, see, the thing about that, people might kind of get a little offended. They might get a little triggered by that if you are kind of like an edgy YouTuber, but you got to understand it's kind of like a tug of war going on between YouTube, the advertisers, and the creators. And the reality is, when you're talking about actual business, actual money, the overwhelming majority of YouTube's revenue comes from the advertisers. I think like 88% of their money comes from advertisers. So if advertisers are not happy for whatever the reason may be, YouTube's got to come to some kind of resolution to make them happy and also keep the content creators on the site, as many as they can, that are going to be able to give the advertisers the eyes on the site to get their content promoted. So it's a weird situation that they're in. I don't blame YouTube for what's happening, for the demonetization and stuff like that. I blame the media, which has influenced the advertisers to flee. Remember that whole story from Wall Street Journal about PewDiePie, basically calling them a racist, all this, that, and the third, neo-Nazi or whatever. When advertisers see that, now they get scared. And then the whole thing with the ISIS videos, you had the guy, Eric Feinberg, who was a patent troll, trying to basically sell to YouTube and or Google ways to filter out so-called harmful content away from the videos. He went to the media with a story with screenshots, Coca-Cola ads on the ISIS video, and then they see that and it's like, hey, we can't have this. At the end of the day, we got to report to our investors, and we can't have them see this clip. It's not going to look good. So what are we going to do? We got to pull out of YouTube. YouTube is hurting because these big ads bring in a lot of big money that helps them continue to run and try to make a profit, which they're not doing right now. YouTube makes about $4 billion per year, but it costs $6 billion to run. So they got to do something. But I digress. Let's get back to the article. YouTube has developed automated software to identify videos linked to extremism and is now aiming to do the same with clips that portray hate speech or are unsuitable for children. Uploaders whose videos are flagged by the software may be ineligible for generating ad revenue. And we all know that. But amid stepped up enforcement, the company has received complaints from video uploaders that the software is error prone. Yes, it's to the point now where you could pretty much upload anything and it will get the yellow sticker of death, so to speak. And when you get the yellow sticker, that basically means that you'll get limited or no ads. You're not totally demonetized. If you get that, then that's something else. But you're just not going to get as much revenue as you were getting before because we have a lower volume of ads. So they'll just give you the short end of the stick. People that have more advertiser friendly content, they'll get the majority of the ads. If your content is less advertiser friendly, you get the minority of the ads, if you get any at all. But sometimes it's not fair the way that the system does it. It's automated and they get it wrong a lot of times. Like, I have videos up that are very benign. I don't do any kind of cursing. It's family friendly, but yet they get demonetized or they get the yellow sticker. So I'm actually in favor of them hiring people to do this, because at least you get in human eyes on it. Now, the question would be, will the human eyes be better than the machine? Who are the human eyes going to be? Are you going to have your Linda Sarsour kind of people be there? Are you going to have, the Gamergate opponents? Are they going to be the ones that censor the content? And what will the new terms of service be? Because I presume there's going to be some kind of bias, some kind of slant in the actual people that are doing the manual review. As long as the reviewers are fair, then I'm good. If the reviewers are not fair, that's going to be a different issue. And I think that will be more easily disputed than dealing with a machine, because we'll be able to identify patterns of disproportionate demonetization or low monetization after we get the people in there. Okay, so it'd be easier to combat it with real people versus a machine. That's my point. Quote, we've heard loud and clear from creators that we have to be more accurate when it comes to reviewing content. Yes, so we don't demonetize videos by mistake, she said. In addition, Wojcicki said the company would take aggressive action on comments, launching new comment moderation tools, and in some cases shutting down comments altogether. What I've seen them do already is go into my live stream chats and moderate. I think they've been in there twice. I'm not really sure what they deleted or whatever, but yeah, they've been in my live stream comments. Like, it's like a Google moderator. I think it's like an automated bot that comes in there and deletes certain comments. So yeah, they're very aggressive about that. That's part of the reason why I say no cursing, keep the content clean in my chat, because I don't want to have those kind of eyes on me. I don't want to have that kind of attention to my channel to where they think it's some kind of problem or a menace, because it's not. Adding to the thousands of existing content reviewers will give YouTube more data to supply and possibly improve its machine learning software. Yeah, because they do have human beings right now that help with the review process. But basically what the humans do is they go through the manual review process. Like, let's say your video gets demonetized or it gets a low monetization and you appeal, you go through a manual review. It's a human being, I presume, I'm not quite sure all the time, but it's a human being that goes through and either confirms that it should not get a certain amount of ads, or they say that you should get a certain amount of ads. When I review, usually it gets overturned. Sometimes they manually confirm it. And I think that sometimes when they manually confirm it, it's based on personal bias. But then again, I've had more success than not, so I can't really tell. At the end of the day, just make sure that the people that are going to be hired are not biased. They're going to be fair like a judge. YouTube is reviewing its advertising offerings as part of a response, and it teased that its next efforts could be further changing requirements to share in ad revenue. Okay, so then they're going to change the TOS. Basically, that's what I was getting at earlier. Definitely going to change the TOS. I expected that to happen because they're hiring 10,000 people, so of course they're going to change the TOS as well. YouTube this year updated its recommendations to feature spotlight videos users are likely to find the most gratifying, brushing aside concerns that such approach can trap people in bubbles of misinformation and like-minded opinions. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you're curating lists and spotlights, what is it based on? It's based on what a person at YouTube personally likes, or is it based on your viewing habits? If these questions are able to be answered, I think YouTube will be better able to please its content creators, because all we want to know is what's really going on. A lot of the rules and stuff that YouTube has are very vague. We don't know what's going on. So as long as we have open lines of communication and you tell us what's happening, then we're fine. If we know we can't talk about X, Y, and Z, or we're going to get demonetized, that's fine. We could still talk about it if that's allowed at all. But we know from the beginning that it won't be monetized. Like, let's say you're talking about Islam. Okay. As long as we know that's off limits, it's okay, because we can just work around that. But what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and get to this blog post from Susan Wojcicki. And I think it's only one post here from yesterday, Monday, December the 4th of 2017. And you see the headline. This is the official blog from YouTube. And I will post a link for this and the previous article in the description box below. The headline here says, expanding our work against abuse of our platform. As a CEO of YouTube, I've seen how our open platform has been the force for creativity, learning, and access of information. I've seen how activists have used it for social change, mobilize protests, and document war crimes. Okay. I've seen how it serves as both an entertainment destination and a video library for the world. I've seen how it has expanded economic opportunity, allowing small businesses to market and sell their goods across borders. Yes, absolutely. YouTube has definitely changed my life and many others in an economic way and many more ways than that. So, you know, I really want YouTube to succeed, but I want it to succeed in the proper way. And I think that myself and many others will be instrumental in making that sure that happens. And I've seen how it has helped enlighten my children, giving them a bigger, broader understanding of our world and the billions who inhabit it. But I've also seen up close that there can be another more troubling side of YouTube's openness. I've seen how some bad actors are exploiting our openness to mislead, manipulate, harass, or even harm. Now, mislead, this is classic YouTube speak right here. Very vague, but also I feel like I know what they mean. Mislead, what does that mean? Like fake news? Does that mean like Alex Jones? You know, because the thing is, Susan is somebody that has been talking to Young Turks, and I'll place a picture right here on the screen before you of Susan Wojcicki and Cenk Uygur from Young Turks. And I think at one point it was rumored that Young Turks would be YouTube's television network, their news network, kind of like MSNBC is to NBC. So, you know, I don't think that Young Turks really are that much different than InfoWars. It's just on the opposite side of the aisle. So when you say mislead, if you are more specific and not being vague, then we can understand what you mean. But if you say outright Alex Jones, then we got to be able to combat that. But that's part of the reason why you see so many vague statements, is because you can't really combat a vague thing because you really don't know what's being said. You can't prove what's being said because he didn't say it. You see? But back to the article. In the last year, we took actions to protect our community against violent or extremist content, testing new systems to combat emerging and evolving threats. We tightened our policies on what content can appear on our platform or earn revenue for creators. We increased our enforcement teams. We invested in powerful new machine learning technology to scale the efforts of our human moderators to take down videos and comments that violate our policies. Now we are applying the lessons we've learned from our work fighting violent extremism content over the last year in order to tackle other problematic content. Our goal is to stay one step ahead of bad actors, making it harder for policy violating content to surface or remain on YouTube. More people are reviewing more content. Human reviewers remain essential in both removing content and training machine learning systems, because human judgment is critical to making contextualized decisions on content. And that's what I was saying earlier. You got to make sure that these human people are not just totally biased one way or the other, you know, against the left or against the right. They got to be like judges, impartial, and just make decisions based on the rules. However, the rules can be very vague and it can be open to interpretation. I think the new TOS is necessary, because if you don't have a new TOS, then the old TOS is so vague that it can be seen any kind of way. Once you do break out a new TOS, make sure that it's not so vague. Make sure it's straight to the point and very clear. Since June, our trust and safety teams have manually reviewed nearly 2 million videos for violent extremist content, helping train our machine learning technology to identify similar videos in the future. We are also taking aggressive action on comments, launching new comment moderation tools, and in some cases shutting down comments altogether. In the last few weeks, we've used machine learning to help human reviewers find and terminate hundreds of accounts and shut down hundreds of thousands of comments. Our teams also work closely with NC, MEC, the IWF, and other child safety organizations around the world to report predatory behavior and accounts to the correct law enforcement agencies. Good money. That was in response to the whole Elsa Gate, which I think was kind of overblown. People were searching stuff in the YouTube search bar, how to have, and then some things were coming up that shouldn't have been there, some inappropriate stuff relating to children. And people were saying that they should prevent that from coming up in the search bar. That's not really the right way to go. I think that if you search something that, if you search something and then the auto type feature comes up and you're able to search something inappropriate, the main thing that should happen is if you search that, there should be no video that comes up as a result. Now, if there's an actual video that comes up as a result of your search, that should be deleted, but don't change the search algorithm, because once you do that, you open the door. Now you say, okay, well, you know what? I don't like conservative content, so let's just remove the search algorithm that will autocomplete into red pill or Pepe meme or conservative blogger. You see what I'm saying? So if you have bad content, remove that, but don't tinker with the search feature, because now when you do that, you leave it open to people saying that you are inappropriate, even though you're not. You see, we will continue the significant growth of our teams into next year with the goal of bringing a total number of people across Google working to address content that might violate our policies to over 10,000 in 2018. At the same time, we are expanding the network of academics, industry groups, and subject matter experts who we can learn from and support to help us to better understand emerging issues. Tackling issues at scale. We will use our cutting-edge machine learning more widely to allow us to quickly and efficiently remove content that violates our guidelines. In June, we deployed this technology to flag violent extremist content for human review, and we've seen tremendous progress. Since June, we have removed over 150,000 videos for violent extremism. Machine learning is helping our human reviewers remove nearly 5 times as many videos than we were previously. Today, 98% of the videos we remove for violent extremism are flagged by our machine learning algorithms. Our advances in the machine learning let us now take down nearly 70% of violent extremist content within 8 hours of upload, and nearly half of it in 2 hours, and we continue to accelerate that speed. Now, what I want to know is, I want to see like a list of things that have been removed, some actual titles, some actual content of the video. This is what I want to see, because the term, violent extremist content is vague, because what does that really mean? You're talking about ISIS videos, you're talking about David Duke, like who are you talking about? Back to the article. Since we started using machine learning to flag violent and extremist content in June, a technology has reviewed and flagged content that would have taken 180,000 people working 40 hours a week to assess. Because we have seen these positive results, we've begun training machine learning technology across other challenging content areas, including child safety and hate speech. Now, child safety, everybody's with, nobody has a problem with that, but what does hate speech mean? What does hate speech mean? Like if I say, I'm against transgenders, or if I call a person a tranny, or if I say the wrong pronouns for a person, if the person appears to be a male and I call them he, but they want to be called ze, am I like, is that hate speech? What's hate speech? We need more transparent policies at YouTube. That's the main thing that I would like to have. Less vague rules and more transparent policy. Oh, here we go right here. Look at this. Greater transparency. We understand that people want a clearer view of how we're tackling problematic content. Yes, we do. Absolutely. Our community guidelines, there's a link right there, and I'll link to this again in the description box below. Our community guidelines give users notice about what we do not allow on our platforms, and we want to share more information about how these are enforced. That's why in 2018, we will be creating a regular report where we will provide more aggregate data about the flags we receive and the actions we take to remove videos and comments that violate our content policies. We are looking into developing additional tools to help bring even more transparency around flag content. There we go. That's all I want, is transparency. If you got that, then we good. If you have a blog where you like list all the videos that have been removed, what the flag was about, why they did it, if they can do all that, then I'm fine, because I can use that as a tool to go forward to say, okay, I know I can't talk about X, Y, and Z, and if I do, I'm going to get flagged and not expected. Because some videos I already know, like I know if I talk about, a terror attack or something like that, it's going to not get monetized, and that's fine. But I know that going into it. The problem is people just don't know what's going to get flagged and what's not going to get flagged for demonetization or low monetization. All we want, or I can speak for myself really, and probably many others, is the transparency to know what we can do, what we can't do, what's going to be punished, what's going to be penalized, and what's not. A new approach to advertising on YouTube. We're also taking actions to protect advertisers and creators from inappropriate content. We want advertisers to have peace of mind that their ads are running alongside content that reflects their brand's values. Equally, we want to give creators confidence that their revenue won't be hurt by the actions of bad actors. Yes, We don't want the PewDiePies of the world. I'm not saying he's a bad actor, but he's a highly visible actor. And anytime he messes up, it seems like something happens with the YouTube situation. Now, I'm not blaming him 100% of the time or 100% of the way here. I'm just saying that he's so visible and so popular that if he does anything wrong, it just puts all of us in a bind. And we don't know whether we're being affected by it or not. And we can only guess that we are. We believe that this requires a new approach to advertising on YouTube, carefully considering which channels and videos are eligible for advertising. We are planning to apply stricter criteria, conduct more manual curation. Here we go with that. While also significantly ramping up our team of ad reviewers to ensure ads are only running where they should. This will help vetted creators see more stability around their revenue. It's important we get this right for both advertisers and creators. And over the next few weeks, we'll be speaking with both to hone this approach. Now, I spoke to my YouTube rep yesterday on the phone, so I think they're actually on the ball here. We didn't talk about this specifically, like as far as what Susan is talking about here. We did talk about YouTube monetization and stuff like that. And their advice to me was basically, review everything. If you get a yellow sticker, just review it. And that helps the machine learning software. But that's what they always say. So maybe I'll get another call pretty soon. I'm not really sure. But they did reach out to me. So we'll give them credit for that. We are taking these actions because it's the right thing to do. Creators make incredible content that builds global fan bases. Fans come to YouTube to watch, share, and engage with this content. Advertisers want to reach these people, fund this creator economy. Each of these groups is essential to YouTube's creative ecosystem. None can thrive on YouTube without the other, and all three deserve our best efforts. Yes, absolutely. You got to be able to please everybody, and that's kind of like the tug of war that they're in. YouTube itself, the creators, the fans, the advertisers, everybody has to pretty much be going full steam ahead, and it's certain things that have to be done to make that happen that may not benefit everybody, but it's for the greater good of everybody. And it's not really all the way fair all the time, but it is what it is. That's life, that's business. As challenges to our platform evolve and change, our enforcement methods must and will evolve to respond to them. But no matter what challenges emerge, our commitment to combat them will be sustained and unwavering. We will take the steps necessary to protect our community and ensure that YouTube continues to be a place where creators, advertisers, and viewers can thrive. Susan Wojcicki, CEO of YouTube. Alrighty. Now, there are comments, but I'm not going to get into the comments because they're cancer. Because people, are kind of upset with Susan because of the whole demonetization thing. A lot of guys depend on the ad revenue to make a living. It's a big part of everybody's revenue if you do YouTube consistently. If you are monetized, which most of us are. So at the end of the day, I think what they're doing here is the best they can under the circumstances. It's not really their fault about the whole thing with demonetization and stuff like that. They're responding to outside sources. They're responding to the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal. They're responding to the media painting YouTube as a haven for miscreants. I'm seeing all kind of stuff about YouTube. They're saying that they're promoting child pornography. They're saying that they're promoting terrorist videos. They say that they got hate speech, the alt-right, neo-Nazis. They say that basically every bad thing on the internet, video-wise, can be attributed to YouTube. It's like since WorldStar, Q from WorldStar, he died, rest in peace. It used to be, well, in the black community, they say WorldStar is the cause of all the problems, even though WorldStar does not have any original content for the most part. They're a content aggregator. So the videos that are out there are everywhere. But now it's like YouTube is getting that same type of treatment. They say, oh, well, because some of your creators are doing videos that I don't agree with or I don't like, or that your moderators didn't catch in time to remove, then that means you're just a haven for all these bad people. So YouTube is like, what do we do? The media is attacking us, and that's causing the advertisers to flee, and we're losing money, and we're not able to take care of our bills, and we're not even profitable anyway. So what are we going to do? You got to be able to come to some kind of resolution, some kind of middle ground, happy medium here. And I think what they're doing here is an attempt to do so. But what do you think? Do you think that YouTube is full of it? They're just blowing smoke? Do they want to censor conservatives? Now, the thing about the censoring conservatives part, I'm not really sure that's true. I think that anything that's controversial at all gets the yellow sticker, or it may be seen as like something that they don't want. because that is what is causing the advertisers to flee sometimes. I've seen liberal channels like David Pakman, Secular Talk. These people have been affected by the Adsense kerfuffle as well. Now, when you're talking about other people that have big platforms, you know, your Jimmy Kimmels of the world, Jimmy Fallon, your NBC, ABC, etc., they may not be privy to the same situation because they're giving that money. This is business. This is just how it is. Dog eat dog. Big bank take little bank. That's the way it is. It's unfair, but it's life and it's real. So I don't know. It's a weird situation. But for myself personally, as I close, I just want to say that the YouTube adpocalypse has definitely turned around. When it first happened, like in March, you know, guys were making no money. All the ads were gone. It was a minefield. If you had anything that was in any kind of way controversial, news related or whatever, I'm producing the same content as before. However, my ad revenue has gone up. I challenge the videos. I do the reviews. They're giving me more tools to help. It ain't like the way it was in 2016 during the campaign. And that was kind of hard to really compare it to, because during that time, it was so much content coming out from the campaign. There was so much interest. It was a Trump bump that all major networks had. Everybody had it. So now after the Trump bump, we're experiencing a little bit of a decline. And then you have the whole AdSense kerfuffle happening at the same time. The money is lower and it's hard to kind of get back to where you were. But I think it would get back to a good level as long as we keep going and keep just working at it. That's all I could really say. So my final thoughts are that I'm pleased with what they have done here. It's not perfect. The language is still kind of vague, but I think that the vagueness would be alleviated if they follow through on their promises here. Become more transparent. Let us know what's really going on, and we'll be able to go forward in a more practical fashion. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.